Hey everybody, today's welcome to Community Improv Podcast. I can't talk. Oh, this is the show. Welcome to my podcast. My guest is Eddie Ifft. I have an audition today and I'm nervous. Can you tell? He is funny as fuck. He took me on this bingo bus tour across the country. And I just love him. He's a crazy old kook, and you'll hear it all on the podcast. I love you all. Tune in right now. Like, subscribe. And I'm coming to a city near you. Where am I coming? La Jolla Comedy Store, Pleasanton, California. Irvine, California. This is the wrong order, but you'll figure it out. Just look, Sacramento, where you at? And all over Conant.com. Buy them tickets. I love y'all. Tune in, like, subscribe. Keep boosting my algorithms. It's greatly appreciated. The government. Bleep. You ready? Are you off the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Can I keep it right here? Because I'm addicted to it.
No. You're supposed to be OG, Mr. Non-phone. Put on your headphones, you animal. Hey, everybody, this is how we start. This is me talking shit.
I got the granola out of my mouth.
Speaking of talk, God bless Eddie Ifft. I think you're the first motherfucker to take me. I don't remember. All I know is
I took your virginity?
The diabolical Sam Tripoli introduced us.
Did he?
Yeah, at the Comedy Store. And he said, this guy's got some stories. Are these volumes up? It seems very low in the headphones. And then, come on, Chris. I hired him from Trader Joe's. He's straight up from
Is he a Trader Joe's guy?
No, but he's the best. I'm just talking shit. And then, at the Comedy Store. And then you didn't want to give me your number because I was a young up-and-comer open mic. And you're like, friend me on Facebook. I don't trust you yet. And then I think we talked on the phone because I was pretty new. I was like, 1-2 years in. The OGs don't really let you on if you're new booty.
I don't let anybody have my number. Nobody. I just had a radio show say, hey, we want to do the promotion, blah, 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 for my St. Louis gig or something. And the guy goes, can I get your number? And I went, no. I go, well, I'll call you guys. Like, you'll have my number then, but I'm not calling, I'm not giving out my... Because there's so many
fucking scam likely.
But there's so many trolls and assholes and
you know that why?
I just don't want to.
Because you're a troll.
No, I don't troll anybody.
Yeah, we do all the time. I'm just not a troll.
But delete and block. And I was just telling my friend, he's like, oh, this guy's harassing me. I go, just block his number.
Oh, I'm so quick to block. I'm quick block. Yeah. But I didn't mean you're a troll, but we like to poke the bear. It's fun, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody just sent me a video of, I've seen it years ago, but the one where the girl's blindfolded and the guy's like, she's like, what is this? And he's like, he's got a watermelon with a hole in it. It's filled with chocolate fudge or something.
Yeah,
she puts her hand through it, then he takes the watermelon, puts it behind her, and there's a horse just in there. She thinks she just fisted a horse.
My favorite prank is the guy sitting next to the guy, and he goes, hey man, I ran out of toilet paper, can you please hand me some? And the guy's like, I got you, bro. And he puts a bunch of toilet paper, he hands it over, and the guy puts chocolate pudding on his hand. And the guy's Nutella, is that what it was?
Yeah.
And then he's like, no bro, no man.
Nutella's got a much more shit consistency than chocolate pudding.
That's the best prank ever because it's fudge. You can eat it. It's not caca, but
I wonder about the validity of that one because to pull off that prank, you'd have to hang out in the bathroom for a long time.
You don't think there's lunatics doing that? A lot of it's fake, but as well as there's a psychopath that will sit on the toilet for 6 hours waiting for one viral video.
I wonder about these people that live in this world of trying to go viral.
What hang on, what was the more poop? Oh, I won't say his name, but we posted the video. Remember when I filmed the homie pooping on tour with you?
Bud.
That was the best thing I've ever done in my life.
He got mad after all the horrible shit I've done to him.
He got mad at you for my poop video?
Yeah, he
doesn't like me anymore.
Didn't you go over? Didn't you go over the stall and film him taking a shit?
He's like, "Hey, get out!" You see his face. He was so vulnerable. He's just spraying the walls.
Opie got fired from Sirius for that.
For filming someone taking a shit.
Yeah,
What's the world coming to?
I know.
Were they? What is his friend, right? That he filmed? Or was it a stranger? Stranger's a little weird.
I liked COVID because cancel culture was kind of gone. Like, what are you gonna do? Cancel? Like, we're all fucking locked in our houses. You can't cancel somebody. You can't. We got other shit to worry about. But we're back, and now again, everybody's like, he did this and he did that, and I don't know. I kind of think like pranks are pranks, and
Yeah, it was a prank. I filmed a man shitting.
yeah, big deal.
I mean, that's probably if you're gonna cancel me for that,
The amount of
I'll
shit I
take it.
filmed Jason Hour doing, the guy that was the sidekick on my podcast. I mean, the hours of film I have of torturing him.
Yeah,
Hours.
yeah. I remember. That guy's funny. Was he
Hours.
Was he on the bus with me? No.
I buried him in Santa Monica up to his head.
Good.
And I was going to have him do interviews on the beach. I just put a microphone next to his head, and it was like that was going to be his man on the street thing. And then while he was there, I had all these kids come out and play soccer. I put 2 goals up, and they just started like
His
kicking.
head was the goalie.
Yeah, they were just in the middle of the field.
Give him a mouthpiece. Poor guy. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
He lives down here. He's really close to you.
Yeah. Sam Tripoli introduced me to you at the store, and then I did your podcast, and it was me, you, and Jason Hour at the Venice Underground.
Oh, I hated when I did it there.
What's that place called?
Venice Underground.
No, that's the comedy show. Townhouse. Townhouse.
But that's called something else. The Speakeasy was downstairs.
Okay, so we're in the speakeasy downstairs.
Yeah.
And then I did the podcast and I had all these crazy stories. And then you kept inviting me back. And then one time you invited me back and your flight got delayed or canceled. So it was just me and Jim Florentine. And he's just looking at me and I'm just like, shit my pants. But it was so cool. I love Jim Florentine. He's
great.
He's great. OG, legend. And then it's just funny because that's the only time I've ever worked with him and seen it. But I've seen him like one time since and he goes like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I know you.
Yeah. He's brilliant. Talk about a prankster.
Yeah.
The shit they have done.
Yeah, he was on Crank Anchors for years, right?
He was, because he used to do this thing called terrorizing telemarketers.
Yeah.
He used to put his number into things so that they would call him. Like he wanted telemarketers to call him and then he would just harass them.
That's awesome. That's how we get it to stop. More Jim Florentines in the world.
And then they did a thing called The Creeps, I think, where they just went and did, like he had so many little stunts. Like I remember if you went to dinner with him, he would go, when the waitress comes over with the pepper shaker, they'd go, say when? And he'd be like, keep going. And they're like, you sure? He's like, keep going. And they would literally be like, he's like, keep going. And they would run out of pepper.
I just hand it over.
He'd go, thank you. And then he'd be like, you know what? This has too much pepper on it.
Oh my God, I would kill him.
But they filmed all this shit. They did stuff like that. They'd go to an all you can eat buffet and they would bring buckets. And they would go up and just start shoveling food into the buckets.
I have 2 different uncles on the Mexican side. The one brought Tupperware to the buffet and we shamed him. We're like, hey man, like, you're not doing that here, And the other ate so much. It was Sizzler, all you can eat shrimp. And he ate so many that they said, you're done. And they cut him off. They cut him off like Homer Simpson. It was kind of rude, actually.
We got cut
But
off.
he ate so much to where like, we understand, but what you did was rude and it says all you can eat. We just brought fucking Brutus to the show, What was his name?
We did an all you can eat crab legs one time and they said to us, you're done. And we were like, it says all you can eat. And we're like, do you want us to bring a lawyer here?
Yeah.
Like this, we are going to keep going. My friend and I just kept having a competition. We're just like, I feel so sick.
Diarrhea City. Oh man, that's too much crap. Did you shit your pants?
Always.
Yeah.
I'm the king of shitting my pants.
Oh, perfect.
I just was in Costa Rica. I shit like I never. Oh man, it got me.
There's something about crossing over. My family's in Mexico right now, and you just cross over and you just shit, man. What is it?
It's called bacteria.
Huh.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Some people don't have good hygiene.
Like who?
Like people that don't wash their hands when they cook your food.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that gives you...
I'm fine. I think it's the water.
I think it's a lot of the water. Because I think that's how I got it in Costa Rica. They said the water was fine. But they're like, the water's fine. But like where people's like systems, where the water goes through, sometimes isn't fine. So the water's good. It's what it's going through isn't good.
Oh, yeah, because I got really sick in Mexico off the water when I was a kid.
Like how sick?
I think I had to go to the hospital sick. I drank
Really?
the water. Yeah. I don't remember. I wanted to go to the water park, but they're like, no. This is bullshit.
I went to India, didn't drink water once. I used a straw every time I drank.
What do you mean you didn't drink? Bottle only?
I drank bottled water only. And then they say sometimes you'll get bottled water and they put the cap back on and then do a lighter around it to like seal the bottle cap again.
Damn.
So that it's just like you're drinking just shit water.
Ugh.
Do that to save $1 or whatever it is in India, you know?
Got a lot of people. A lot of bucks to save. How many people are on that damn?
I think it's close to 1 billion now. I think they have
Do they all populate China?
No, China's got like 1.2 billion, and I think India has like 1. I could not. I could be so fucking wrong right now.
No, I know that it's the most densely populated countries on this planet. That I do know.
Too. Let me see how close I am. I'd love to know.
I love these facts.
Siri, what's the population of India?
Who is this?
1.326 billion. Is that what you got?
Yeah, 1.38.
Siri, what's the population of China? Oh, come on. China lies. 1.449. So they're pretty close. Here's the deal. I seriously think the last time I checked that was like 3 years ago.
It's a pretty good memory.
And I think that's how much it's gone up. How fucking scary is that? If you look at like the United States population, how much it's gone up, like in like 1900, I think there were like 100 million people in America, and now there's like 325 million. So there's three times more in 100 years. Can you imagine if there's 1 billion people in the United States?
Yeah, why do you think they have a perpetual state of war?
We need more than war. We need a good plague, not this COVID bullshit.
A good plague. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but
this one didn't really do anything.
No, it didn't. I mean, it did. It did a lot.
It didn't even get 1% of the population.
No, it got 0.2% of the population.
Yeah,
but we made sure the other 99.8 suffered just as much.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. Can't talk about nothing these days. Next topic.
Go ahead. This is your show. I could take over and run this if you want.
I've been running it well. I keep trying to get to the source of how we met, and you keep bulldogging.
I thought we got it. I thought we
already did that, but I wanted to lead to more stories because the bingo bus was so fun, dude.
I know.
That's all those fucking stories.
I shouldn't have sold it. Oh yeah, you came on tour with me.
Mm-hmm. You sold the bus? Mm-hmm. Oh, did you bring my goddamn fireworks?
No, I lit those off so long ago.
Well, why didn't you tell me that? And I'd stop bugging you, you dingleberry.
Well,
I thought you were scared of them. Anyways, I got more.
I throw out fireworks more than anything in the world, though. I always have them, and then I get afraid.
Yeah, because he lives in Fireville. A spark will light.
No, I don't light them where I live. I was in North Carolina, and we always light them there because you get them in South Carolina and just do like crazy, like mortars. And we lit one up. We were shooting them up over my in-laws' lake, and I just saw all this shit like come down on their boat. And I was just like, if I catch their fucking boat on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And this one night we went to light off fireworks. And this is how bad I am of a human being. We wanted fireworks, and my mother-in-law's like, absolutely not. No fireworks. No, no, no. And my daughter was upset. And she's like, I wanted fireworks, Dad. You said we were going to have fireworks. I go, can you fake cry?
That's a good dad.
And I said,
that's a bad practice.
And I
fake
said,
cry.
Go cry to Mia. Mia's the grandmother.
Yeah.
I go cry. we'll get those fireworks.
Did she get it? Did Grandma?
We got
of course
the
she did.
fireworks.
Of course. Good. Yeah, come on, Grandma. You close to checking out of this world anyways. Let your granddaughter I'm just kidding.
She's a young one. Like my mother-in-law's young.
Yeah, I don't understand. Everyone sprout kids out old in my family. My parents are 74. Isn't that crazy?
Are they really?
Mm-hmm. 75. They're old as shit. That's wild. Sometimes people have young parents. It trips me out.
I'm an old dad. I got a 2-year-old.
Yeah, but you're different. Look how you're dressed. You know? You fucking... I'll be wearing the same shit. It's like, I don't want to wear fucking... Perry Ellis. I'm wearing Vans till I die.
I realized I've been wearing Vans since 7th grade.
Yeah, me too, since
7th grade. I remember the first 2 pairs of Vans I bought. I bought all white ones, low tops, lace ups, and I bought they were black, white, laced, and then I went to checkered. And it was like for the rest of my life I bought them.
I had that like in photos as a child, toddler, little. My dad always wore the classics, just plain blue. I tried all of them. I had half cabs to brown, just fat tongue ones. But now I'm just stuck on classics. That's all I wear.
I've done the fat. I do, and I did Chuck Taylors a lot.
I hated those because those hurt my feet even more so than Vans. Vans is they finally in the last 2 years they make comfy cush and they don't hurt your feet, but they're just flat-footed suckers. Chucks are the worst things I've ever had on my feet, and of course I wore them for fucking 4 years.
See, that's why I wear them, because they're actually really good for your feet. You have weak fucking feet.
No, they're not good for your feet.
You got weak fucking feet, man.
Why does it feel like I'm walking on fucking boards?
Right, because Nike has ruined people's feet with the big cushioning and all the arches and everything.
Feels nice.
You're supposed. It feels nice, but you're fucking.
You're supposed to be a flat-footed sucker.
It's like
that what you're supposed to be?
No, it's like being a fat fuck that sits home and eats Cheetos all day long. It feels nice, but it's ruining your body. Your body's falling to shit. You have so many little muscles and everything in your body, and it's the foundation of your feet, and it's the foundation of your being. You're supposed to work those muscles, and you're supposed to splay your toes. You shouldn't be wearing shoes at all. We should all be barefoot.
I like that. There's a lot of broken glass, though.
When I lived in Venice, I never had shoes on. In Venice, with like heroin needles.
Oh,
yeah,
gross.
I know a dude that got stuck too.
Oh, did he get anything?
No, you can go take that drug. There's a drug
that gets it out.
Yeah, like right away.
Yeah.
It's fucking nasty.
Yeah, I take it every day.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
There's like a drug if you get stuck by a needle and you might have AIDS.
I know someone that was helping someone and he got stuck by a needle and just went, and he had to go to the hospital, take that drug. They're pumping him. It was crazy.
That would be the worst feeling.
Yeah, I
just
got stuck
by a
with an
needle
AIDS needle. It was like a needle too, like an AIDS needle. It wasn't even a question. And they had to go to the hospital and take all the shit and they didn't get it.
Happens to my buddy who's a fireman. Because he works on Skid Row, and he'll be like, like they're dealing with people, taking care of people, and the next thing you know, he's like, fuck!
God damn it.
He said it makes you really sick. Really sick.
Just a stranger's needle in your arm?
The drug.
Oh, the drug. I was like, yeah, both.
What's the drug? We got to find out what that drug is.
Bingo bus. There's several good stories. The fucking... the would have been threesome.
Oh yeah, drug to take after HIV exposure. Oh man, can you imagine if there's like guys like just banging dudes, like getting fucked in the ass, and then they're like, "All right, now I got to take my drug." PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis, means taking medicine to prevent HIV after possible exposure. What's the name of this? They just call it a PEP.
PEP, a little pep. You take your pep.
It can stop the HIV virus from infecting your body. Do not delay. You need to take PEP as soon as possible after the exposure.
Or you could just go in the sun and eat some oranges, Like, what are we really doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
What are we really doing?
Your threesome?
Yeah. So the bingo bus, this fool took me on this guy. I can't believe he sold the bus. He made this cool ass school bus into a podcast studio. I said that weird.
It was like the size of this room.
Yeah, it was probably bigger actually.
Yeah.
And then we just toured the country, and I went to like 9 cities with you. And in St. Paul, actually, these 2 girls hit on me, and then I didn't have any money, any place to go, and then they're like, well, let's go see the bus. And I was just like, oh shit. And then they made a joke, like, I don't know what would have went down, you know. But they said it, and I remember the girls saying like, we should have a threesome, and I went, yeah, all right. And then I remember like, hey, you know, and then we go in the tour bus, and then Bud's in there, and then I said like, hey Bud, like,
Bud was my
he's a producer.
Bud was
man.
my sound guy.
And then I was like, hey Bud, you know, I you know, let me hang out in the bus. And then he like didn't leave, but
He never left.
I was like, I didn't know what to do, you know. I was
You told him at one point, you said scram.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, because afterwards he's like, man, you gotta come up with like a sign for when I should leave. And you're like, how about scram? That wasn't good enough?
I said it 2 times, maybe 3. I don't remember what I was saying, because, you know, it's like, this is it's hard to pull this off, you know. And like 2 girls, you're just like, what? You want to fuck me? All right. I don't know if you're serious. I don't know what's happening, but I think. And then Bud just never left the bus. And then later, I was like, hey Bud, remember I had those 2 girls on the bus, and they joked. They said I want to have threesome with me, and I said I need the bus. And then he's like, yeah, you got to give me a sign. And I was like, I said I need the fucking bus, bro. Like, what do you want? And I just wonder. I always wonder.
Do you remember that crazy kid that was on the bus? That was
Avery, yeah. I shed a tear over that fool because we stayed in contact. He fucking overdosed, that little knucklehead.
He was a psychopath, though. He was like threatening to kill me all the time.
Oh, bro, you're such a pussy. They were loose threats.
Loose threats. I'd get tweets all the time where he'd post my address and say,
he was a nice kid, man.
Your children aren't going to live to see tomorrow.
Hey, he was a good kid.
Yeah,
man.
they
he just was on drugs
and just killed himself.
No, he just took a little too much.
I don't think he OD'd. I think it was suicide.
He was a sad boy. He just needed to do stand-up. That was the solution to that man's problem.
We don't need more crazy people in this business.
Yeah, we do.
Is that what we are?
Yeah,
it is
for sure.
I go in the other night. I walked in the Comedy Store and I thought that. I looked around and I'm like, look at these people that I hang around.
We're all mentally ill.
They're all
100%. Just different degrees.
It's like a outpatient kind of mental institution.
He's sane, crazy. I can handle him. Oh, he's crazy. You know, like,
yeah. But it's like oh, they can come in, they're going to pay them to work, and then they're going to let them leave. But everybody's like, we know they're crazy.
This kid was a good kid, and he deserved the threats. He'd egg them on. He'd do all sorts of things.
I locked him in.
He locked him in the phone booth during his set. He's smoking weed in there. We were having a good time.
Do you remember when I got mad at you?
He pissed on his own car. Why'd you get mad at me?
Remember when you called me to get ready to go to the airport that one morning?
Oh, that was Bud's fault. And yeah, you want to bring that up? I remember when you yelled at that sweet lady offering you breakfast because she was a fan of your show. And then you had to apologize afterwards.
I did apologize.
That was miscommunication because Bud showed me the GPS and it said a time. I didn't know those route options. When we looked at the GPS, the time it said to get to the airport mean we were going to miss our flight. But then when you like put no tolls or something, when you adjusted it, it fixed it. So when I saw the information, I was like, we're missing our flight. That was at the tail end of the tour. This motherfucker was trying to make me and what was that guy, Tim Handlin? Tim McLaughlin. Tim McLaughlin. Tim Handlin's other homie. Tim McLaughlin. Me and him were in the back of the bus. There's monoxide coming in. We have headaches, and we just don't feel good. We're like this, like, Eddie, it smells funny back here. And we're brand new, open mic, up and comers. We're just happy. We just want stage time, you know? And then he's like, all right, let's go to the hardware store and get a carbon monoxide detector. And then he does, and he gets it, and we go in the bus. He's like, beep, 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 beep. And I was like, Eddie, I'm not going in that fucking bus. I'm going to die, bro.
You know what I found out? You know what caused that?
A rat?
No. When I was in Chicago, I got something fixed on the car, and they took the fucking thing. The engine's like inside the bus. and there's a doggy door or something they call it. There's a cover of the engine, and the guy took it off to work on the engine or do whatever he had to do. When he put it back on, he didn't clip it down properly, so the engine was just fucking leaking right into the bus.
Dumping in us, bro.
But
I was like,
remember,
oh.
I was so pissed off because the people that sold me the bus, I'm like, those motherfuckers. Remember, I had it towed home, had to pay thousands of dollars to have it towed home. Turns out, guy's like, clip. He's like, no, here's your problem.
Jesus. Because he didn't seal it. Yeah, we almost died because of a dumb fuck not sealing a goddamn vent properly. And then
it was just more problems. That's why I got rid of that thing.
No, because that was after 9 days every day a different city. We were at our fucking wits end, and then the monoxide happened, and then I thought we were gonna miss our flight.
You missed the best part of the trip though, the treehouse.
Yeah, I know. You guys they took me on the torture part of the tour.
Yeah, you went on the
when
shit
everything
part.
fell apart. That's when Joe Prano was the first half. I remember.
Joe and I had a
flew
blast.
into Denver, and then Joe left, and then I took over the second leg of the tour, where everything crumbled, and I inhaled monoxide, and then I had to share a bed with Tim. I was like, "Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. All right, we're crashing here," and I'm farting, and I'm
choice.
farting on this guy.
I think that was your choice. You were like, I want to sleep with him.
Well, yeah, it was him or you.
No, I stayed.
No, you slept on the floor. Oh, it was him or Bud.
Because
I'm not sleeping next to Bud. I filmed the man shitting. He might stab me in my sleep.
Nobody wanted to sleep with Bud.
No. After that shit on tape, we can't post anymore. We'll get canceled. Patreon.
Bud created a mutiny on the first leg of the tour
With that producer kid, right?
What did we call him? We had a name for him.
He's a nice kid. I talked to him about you.
Wait, how do you know
He's like,
him?
I don't know why we almost fought. Eddie hates me, man.
I wanted to kill him. He said to me at one point, I said his job was to record the podcast, then download it, blah, blah, blah. We'd all be playing video games. And he'd be like, come over and play video games. I'm like, you gotta do your job. And he's like, why do they get to do that? I'm like, because they're the comics. And he's like, well, I don't want to do the downloads now. I want to play video games. I'm like, well, I'm not paying you I go, do your shit. And he goes, who are you, my dad? And I go, no, I'm your fucking boss. And he's like, and one day he pulls me aside, he goes, I don't like the way you talk to me. And he goes, my dad talks to me like that. And I go, yeah, because you're a fucking, you need the shit kicked out of you. He goes, I go, look, you're done. You're off the tour. I go, I can't deal with your shit. I go, I'll get someone else to do it. He goes, well, let me think about it. I go, there's no thinking about it. So he comes back.
This is my bus. Go home, bro.
He comes back to me. He goes, look, I think I'm going to stay on for 2 more gigs.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go home. And I was like, really? Do you? I drove to Boise Airport and I go, get out.
Damn. Yeah, I missed all that. I'm glad. I don't like that. I don't like that. Hang on, there's more. Well, what else?
No, but Oregon.
I missed Oregon. I joined in Denver.
It wasn't Oregon. It was Seattle, the treehouse.
Yeah, I remember that. They served coffee topless?
Well, that was on the way there.
Why is that a thing? I mean, that's cool.
We went to a treehouse.
It's a bit early for tits. I don't want to have a raging boner the whole day.
I don't know. It was pretty cool.
Nighttime, you know?
We made friends with the girl.
I mean, of course, I love it, but it's just like, this seems...
We were this close to getting the coffee girl to getting on the bus and joining the tour. This close. She was like, I don't know. We were like, you're going to serve us coffee every day. And I go, we'll pay. What do you make here? She was like, I don't know. We're like, how much do you make in a day? She's like, with tips. And I was like, I will pay you that. You have to live on the bus with us. And every morning you wake up and you make us coffee topless. And I'm like, I don't think my wife's going to find this as funny as I do.
I was just trying to say. Oh, sweet, Eddie. You picked up a barista with no shirt.
Isn't that how every road trip movie...
I'll be home here with the kids.
Every road trip movie, you start picking up stragglers along the way. And so I thought, why not pick up a topless... She called her boyfriend, I think, and asked him if she could go with us. And he was like, I don't think this is a good idea.
I think, I mean, little do they know it's just for a bit and, you know, the camera and the gag. But
What are you talking about? We would have kept her. She'd be at my house right now.
All right, it was a kidnapping. I was trying to help you out, man.
Wasn't a kidnapping because I was going to pay for it.
It's legal.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if I was like, and now she's my nanny,
I know.
and she does it topless? I have a
My
topless.
kids are very happy.
It's a great idea for nanny service. Topless nannies.
Yeah. Tell that to the missus.
My wife wouldn't care if they did their job. She'd be like, really? I don't give a fuck. I asked her once if I could go get a hand job from one of those Yankee Wanky places. And she was like, you won't do it. And I'm like, oh, trust me, I will. And she's like, you're afraid. She's like, you get nervous. People like shaking your hand. She's like, you're going to let some random woman jerk your cock? I'm like, keep talking. I'm getting blood flow.
Yeah.
And she's like, you wouldn't. I go, would you get mad? She goes, no, it's not like you're going to leave me for, and I'm like, I might.
There's Mama San.
Yeah. I had a woman walk on my back. I went and got a massage the other day, and she goes,
Dude, massages are the best.
she goes, you mind if I walk on your back? And I was like, how much you weigh? And I was just like, there's a certain point where it's not going to feel good.
Yeah.
And she has those bars up above that she holds on to. She was good.
That shit's awesome. I actually tried to get a freaking
Hand job.
jank on the bingo bus. Because it was like 2 weeks of all dudes in a hotel room. You don't exactly get to release, you know, or have sex or any of that stuff. So I was about to, fracture and crack and get
The evil
angry.
demons were
and then
crawling up.
It was some moment where like everyone was gone, and a buddy of mine, I had never done it, and then a buddy of mine was addicted, and he's like, dude, it's like the best shit ever. And he's like, and then I was like, how do you find them? Like, what do you do? And he's like, you go to this website and it'll just tell you.
Rub Maps.
Is it? He just go
Rub
to
Maps.
I didn't. That wasn't the one I used. I used Backpage or some shit.
No, Rub Maps has like, they do reviews of the girls.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't need any extra thing to get addicted. Thank God. So I went. I went, and then they like. I was like, hey. You know, like a massage, and there was one of those windows. They looked at me and they go, no. And they go, and then like, we're busy. And I was like, what?
You got rejected?
Yeah. And then I just went back so horny and angry. I was like,
I get a lot of massages because I'm always sore, and I'm old, and I was in Kansas doing shows, and I took my opener. I won't tell you who it was. But I took my opener, and it's not the one who everybody thinks. It was another opener. But I took him with me, and I said, hey, you want to get a massage? I said, I like Thai massages because they're cheap, and they usually do a really good job. And he's like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, I'll pay for you. So I go in. It's like $60 for an hour. And so I go into my room, and I want a massage. I don't want jerked off. Like, I can do that myself. I need the massage. I can't massage myself. So the girl like goes, take your underwear off. And I'm like, what? Because some places are like, you can go underwear or you can go whatever she goes, take your underwear off. And I'm like,
you're like, no, I don't want to jerk.
And this place looks sketchy, and I'm like, oh, like look kind of dirty. I'm like, I'm not fucking laying down on this table without like my exposed dick. So I lay down on the table with my underwear, and she comes in and she sees the underwear still on me, and I think it was like, she's like, huh? So she starts giving me a massage. She's talking on her phone while she's massaging me. She's using like one hand, and she's holding the phone to her hand with and I'm like, this is the worst massage I've ever gotten. And I'm like, this place seems like it's going to get raided by the cops right now. It like seems like I'm in a fucking like flop house or a heroin den or something. So I can't wait to get out of there. As soon as I'm done, I pay her, I get out of there, and I'm sitting in the car, and my opener still in there. All of a sudden he comes out, he sits down next to me. He's a young guy. And he goes, did you just get jerked off? And I go, no. And he goes, I did. And he goes, I go, wait, so I just paid to get you jerked off? Or I go, would you have to tip for that? And he goes, nothing. She just did it. I go, so I just bought you a hand job? And he goes, yeah. And then he went on stage and it was like his opening line. He's like, so I got jerked off today for $60.
I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
A massage. That's why I don't, like, I was just talking about this with Josh Hannah Myers last night. Because we were talking about kinky shit, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta just," it's like a finger in my ass, and I was like, "I don't want none of that. I don't want to get addicted to none of that weird shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to ball gag. I want to be, you know."
You know Louis C.K.'s joke about that?
Uh-uh.
Louis used to have a great joke. He goes, the joke started with like the piercing of the tongue. And I remember this from like when I started comedy. So this joke must be like 26 years old. He goes, people are getting the pierced tongue. And I asked a girl why she got it. And she's like, oh, it improves fellatio. And he's like, I didn't know. Or she goes, it enhances fellatio. He goes, I didn't know fellatio needed enhanced. He's like, I can't remember the last time that I was like, oh, this feels pretty good. But you know what this needs right now? And then he goes, like that S&M stuff, I'm paraphrasing and butchering his joke, but he goes, S&M, he goes, oh, you got to get all that equipment. Yeah. He goes, that's like skiing. That's expensive. But it is like, I love sex. I don't need more.
I don't want to get addicted to like handcuff me, step on my head, and spit in my mouth.
When my
this
wife
shit's
and
getting weird out there.
When my wife and I started dating, she wanted it more than I did. That's like a line from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Damone goes, "You wanted it more than I did."
I remember that.
She goes,
"That's unfair to say."
Yeah, you wanted it more than I. You got some.
He comes
lemonade?
around in the end. He was a piece of shit.
He was a piece of. You look like him a little bit.
No, I look like Spicoli.
You got a little Damone in you.
A little both.
Anyway,
I'm my own man.
My wife wanted it more than I did. And then, like, once we started having kids and busy and everything, now, when she wanted it more than I did, I was like, oh, I gotta have sex again. And now, I don't like it, but it's kind of cool. Like, I want it way more than she does. So now it's like, when I get sex, I'm like, oh, yay. And I'm, like, really into it because she's, like, rationed it.
Yeah. Yeah, once you move in with the girl, shit changes. I'm always harassing her every time.
They ration the pussy.
She's like, can I walk by without you grabbing my ass? I'm like, no. What are you talking about? You have a nice ass.
You think that's part of like they move in? That's what you get.
A lot of sex. I mean, we have lots of sex, but it's just not. It's not as much as a guy would want.
Is that your girlfriend out there?
Uh huh.
How long have you been together?
3 years.
Really?
Uh huh.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Down here in the
a year and a half down here.
Rat Beach.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's called.
It is called that.
Yeah.
You know who's from here?
Burnout.
You know who's from this area?
Mm-mm.
The dude from Unbreakable.
Oh yeah, Zamperini Field. Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in this area. My dad moved here from Boston in the 60s on this street.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Zamperini. Zamperini, I thought it was.
Zamperini.
You sure?
Nope. I just want to go against you. Get to Googling, Chris.
Yeah.
Zamperini Field.
It's so good to have a Googler on the show. I used to have that. Whatever we talked about, I had a position on talking shit. Guy's job was to just Google. There was a big screen TV behind us all, like behind the cameras. And anything we were talking about would just appear on the screen at all times.
We did that, and then it was too much setup. He'd connect his laptop. Who is it?
Zamperini.
Oh!
So I lost.
Yeah, I actually forgot which one.
Louis. Is his first name Louis?
Yes.
Okay.
You know what's funny? He said that, and I was like, I didn't remember which one I said. I was like, did I say that
No,
one?
I think I said Zamperini.
You did for sure.
So you said Zamperini.
I remembered but it was a hesitation. I was like, oh, well. Yeah, this area is fucking great, man. You almost moved down here, you said.
You were the first person to tell me to put well, you weren't the first person, but you were the one that you're like, dude, put your clips online. Put your clips online. And I hated it, and I refused to do it.
It works.
I still haven't done it.
What do you mean? I see you putting clips online all the time.
I just hired somebody to do it. I never have done it, ever.
Oh, yeah, that's all I'm going to do. I hate social media. Just hire someone to do it for you.
I don't even, I shouldn't tell people this, but I rarely even comment. Like, it's not me commenting.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't tell people that.
I can't stand, it.
It just got... I came up on social media. That's how I started headlining and shit. I don't have any real credits. You know, it's all social media, viral videos. So I love it. And in the beginning, it was organic and it was natural and I was excited. And they had regular algorithms and this and that. And now it's like, if you cuss, if you say this, if you say that, or if you're just a crazy, you know, like you're crazy, I'm crazy. A lot of comics are crazy. If you just talk crazy shit, not even just fun. It's like, I'm not Alex Jones, motherfucker. You get dinged so hard.
Well, Facebook does that to me. Facebook, I said one time, like,
and it takes all the joy and the fun out of it, and then you're like now becoming
it's
become the warfare. Like, how do I beat the algorithm? Before it was just like, how do I be funny? Now it's like, okay, this is a funny bit, but because I have to bleep that word. They just took all the fun out of it. You have to censor yourself, otherwise you will be dinged in algorithms. Just straight up.
Well, there's a couple platforms that don't have algorithms, and
TikTok.
Yeah, I do great on there.
Yeah, TikTok's good.
But it's funny. I said one time, I said something, and I go, I should kill myself for saying that. And Facebook, like, took me off Facebook for 3 days. Yeah. I was like, oh, God.
I already said this a bunch, but my buddy, he's a comic at a comedy club, made a shitty, funny fucking bleep word vaccine joke. And they just straight up fucking, you know.
Wait, you bleep vaccine?
Yeah, because it ruins the algorithms, bro.
Oh, yeah. I did a sketch that I thought was really funny with a friend where I play a guy who's too pro-vaccine and he plays an anti-vaxxer. And we get in this argument. Like, where I'm pro and he's anti, and we're fighting, and I'm telling him why he should get vaccinated. He's telling me why I shouldn't. And then at the end, I tell him that Trump got vaccinated, and he's like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm like, yeah, Trump got vaccinated. He said everybody should get vaccinated. He just said it. And he's like, oh, then maybe I should get vaccinated. And I was like, wonder if I could get the vaccinated taken out of me, you know, like, and we both switch, so it's like totally tribal. It has nothing to do with the vaccine, but it has to do with like where we just stand, like we want to be on different sides.
That's a great bit. Did they get flagged and dinged?
Oh my God.
Of course it did. Of course it did. That's my point.
It became this
it's insanity. This is we're doing fart jokes and we make a jab joke and then we're the devil.
Yeah, but we never knew we were going to live in this world where like the Russians were going to be fucking putting stuff up on our site. Did you ever see what those troll farms do? Like watch like a documentary on it. It's so creepy.
Every country has troll farms. We have troll farms.
It's true, but what I'm saying is this is a new world for us.
I know.
And so nobody knew how to handle it, and like the amount of misinformation that they are putting across. They would do shit like, if you watch, I watched this documentary with a guy, and you know they covered his face and bleeped, and he would say like, he would create like a Facebook profile of like a hot chick usually, and then get all these dudes to join, and then they would create like an anti-gun rally in a location. And they would be like, hey, today on this street, blah, 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 we're going to have an anti-gun rally, blah, blah, blah. And they would post it. And then all these people would start signing up for it. And then one of their other troll personalities would go, we're having a pro-gun rally right across the street from it. And they would just try to fucking instigate fights.
It's pretty funny.
It's like you saying, I'm gonna have a podcast. My guests are gonna be a Black Panther, and a KKK member, and I'm going to have them as my guests, and we're going to do it in a steel cage, and I'm going to lay knives on the ground. You know, like, that's what they were doing, and it's like
clickbait.
They're having so much fun with us. I mean, to be honest, you and I, like, think how much fun it is. Your name's like Ivan, and you live in Russia, and you make like $12 a day, but every day you get to wake up and fuck with big, fat, dumb Americans.
And make Americans fight each other over no reason.
What
This
do
one,
we do today? Let's see if we can get them to fight over... I sound Swedish or something.
yeah, that was the worst Russian accent
I
I've
think
ever heard
I
in my
think I
life.
got into... what was that? That was... I don't know what language. That was a different accent.
Yeah, that wasn't Russian.
What are you doing?
I just know John Malkovich. Do you have money? From Rounders. That's the only.
Where are your papers? That's German, I think.
That's from X-Men.
Yeah.
I saw that movie too. It's a good one. Michael Fassbender, great actor.
Is he?
He is to me.
Have you ever been assaulted on stage?
Not yet.
I've so many times.
So many.
So many. I average 26 years. I would say every 4 years I get assaulted.
Damn.
And I mean, like, it's been everything from hit with shit, chased, strangled, punched, fought. Like, I've fought once in the parking lot. Like, it's more than, I'd say it's like, I'm up to at least 10.
No, man. I try to keep the peace. I've had to kick people out. People are getting more volatile lately. You don't feel that?
No.
You're full of shit, man. That shit's getting rowdy.
No, I had a guy in Florida one time. He was causing trouble, and they finally asked him to leave. And on the way out, the table that had like complained about him, as he's leaving, he punches this guy in the back of the head. And I saw it while I was on stage. It's the Hard Rock, the improv in the Hard Rock in Fort Lauderdale. And I go, hey, like I completely came out of, and I'm not a character. But like,
yeah, it snaps you out of your set real quick. You're just like,
and I go, hey,
what is the deal with far? Hey,
and I'm like, hey, fucking arrest that guy. I was doing what everyone should have done at the Academy Awards, and I like right away just went, hey, fuck that guy. I did. I go, fuck that. Fuck you. I go, somebody fucking grab him. Get the police. Fuck that guy. Because he just punched this guy like a sucker punch in the back of the head. So they take him outside. They arrest him. After my show, I come out. They've got the guy there that got punched in the head. The guy there is waiting. The cops come over to take his statement. They ask me for a statement. The guy that got punched in the head goes to the police. Hey, I just want to let you know. And he lifts up his shirt. He goes, I've got my license. And he's carrying a gun. It's an open carry state. And he's got a gun right there. And, you know, like, this dude could have fucked up. Like, he punched this guy in the back of the head, and he's lucky he wasn't some psychopath. Just whips his gun out and shot him. But, like, that's always been my fear as a show, is the gun. And I did have it happen in New York. I had a gun come out in New York, and I got a gun pulled on me in Pittsburgh once. But, yeah, like, people are like, oh, it's going to make comedy not safe. I've never felt fucking safe.
no, yeah, it's
Never. I had a guy one time in England. The guy wouldn't shut up, and I just jokingly, like, I'm like a smaller guy, and the guy's like yelling at me, and I went, "I'll kill you," like Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that, you know, when I do it, usually people laugh.
yeah.
And this dude goes, "Really? Fuck you!" And he like starts storming like out of the balcony. And I just start looking for bouncers, like, who's going to save me? Who's going to save me? And literally, the whole crowd starts going, fight, 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 fight. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I see him coming down the steps, and I got it's called the Frog and Bucket in Manchester, England. It's got a really high stage. And I knew somebody said in comedy, if they come on stage with you, you have the right to defend yourself. So I'm like, okay, this guy's going to kill me. He's like bigger than you. He's British, you know, like he's just like fucking, he looks like he came straight out of, what's that movie?
Bronson?
No.
That with Tom Hardy?
No, worse. What's the one?
Green Street Hooligans.
No, my buddy
It's a good
family
movie.
wrote
It's a good
that. I'll get to tell you a story about that.
Yeah.
So
No, finish this one.
So the dude's coming down the Jason Strahan. What's the movie he was in? Snatch. Dude looks just like that coming at me, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Like I am gonna die, and I'm thinking my only chance is as he's climbing on the stage to kick his head like a field goal. Like just literally go for his fucking head and then just go fight him.
Put your foot sideways though. You don't want to break your toes.
Well, I lined up like a field goal kicker, and I got in like fist, like I put my fists up because he's yelling, screaming, he's gonna fucking kill me, and I'm just like, okay. So as he's coming down the steps, in my head, I'm like, this is getting crazy. Like I'm thinking deportation.
You're like, I don't want to kick this guy.
But I was so scared. I was like, I'm going to die otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the beating of a lifetime. And like he had like from you to me, from the bottom of the steps to the stage, he hits the bottom of the steps, and out of the kitchen comes one of the bouncers and just fucking clotheslines on me. And he goes back into the kitchen, and just like you said, I put my hands up like I scored a touchdown. And I went,
Go!
Yes! And I was just like so relieved. And I go to the audience, how many of you thought I was going to die? And the audience was like, everybody. The crowd was like, everybody.
You're like, I did too. I was off.
But in Dubai one night, we were in Dubai doing shows, and the show progressively got worse. I was on early on the show, and my buddy Glenn Wool went on last, and Glenn's hilarious. One of the funniest guys alive. He's a Canadian comic. He lives in England. Glenn is just having a rough set. The guy gave me a hard time. The other comics a hard time. And in the UK, they do kind of showcase shows.
Yeah.
And so Glenn's just like fucking having a tough time because of this guy. And we all go to dinner after the show. And there's a comic with us named Eddie Brimson. His brother wrote the book Away We Go, which Green Street Hooligans was based on. Away We Go was about soccer hooliganism, and Eddie Brimson and his brother wrote them. Eddie is now a comedian. Eddie has been shot and stabbed, and we'll show you his stab wound and his gunshot wound.
I just found out one of my cousins got shot in the leg the other day. Nobody told me.
Leg's no big deal.
It was the 45.
Unless it hit. Oh, that's
a big deal.
that is a big deal, especially if it's an artery.
Yeah, I was like, this is... Wow. Nobody told me, this is information. You found out. Anyways, he's fine now. Is
he a gangster?
I mean, yeah.
He's playing with fire.
Nah, man. He's Mexican. What are you going to do?
So Eddie Brimson was on the show with us. We're sitting at the table eating dinner, and the guy that was heckling shows up in the restaurant next door. This is in Dubai, in the Middle East. He goes, oh, look who it fucking is. And he's all fucking drunk. He goes, it's you, and it's fucking you. And he goes, hey, you were okay. You were funny. And he goes, and then he looks at Glenn, and he goes, you fucking suck, mate. And Glenn goes, you know what? I'm having my dinner. Could you please leave us alone? And he goes, oh, fuck, mate. I paid to see a show, and you fucking didn't make me laugh at all. Why don't you fucking make me laugh? And Glenn goes, I asked you nicely to go away. And the guy goes, fuck you, you fucking unfunny fuck. And Glenn stands up and screams right in his face. He goes, get the fuck out of here. And all of a sudden I see the guy just pull his fist back to punch Glenn. And then he's on the ground with Eddie Brimson's foot on his neck in a millisecond. And I was like, oh! It was like I was hanging out with Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
I grabbed the guy's feet because he was still kicking, but Eddie Brimson had his wrist. So I asked him afterwards what he did. I go, dude, I've never seen anyone do that. That was phenomenal. As the guy threw the punch, he blocked it with one arm, grabbed the wrist, turned it, tipped his chin put his chin up just with fingers like this with a foot behind him. So the guy fell. He lost his balance because if you get your head back, well, he's holding his wrist. So as the guy falls, his wrist turns. So he's got the guy on the ground with his wrist turned, and he just stood on his neck.
Jesus Christ.
And he goes...
Like kicking a kickstand.
He goes, get security. He goes, get security. So security came over and took the guy out. And it was like I just won the Super Bowl. I was like, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
That was the coolest shit I've ever seen. And so he explained it, but he said to me, he's like, please don't tell anyone I did that. I'm trying to be very peaceful now. He's like, I do yoga.
That was peaceful.
And he goes, I don't want anyone to know about this. I'm trying to like break into the comedy world and blah, blah, blah. And that was like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, something, probably like 2006, 2007, something like that. And I just ran into him in Australia a few years ago. And he's like, now really working comic and everything. And he's like, hey, tell everybody about that time I beat that guy.
Yeah. It's a great story, especially when you like, fuck that guy. These people need to be. The only thing that ever make that man learn not to be such a dumb fucking drunk is that right there.
How funny would it have been if Chris Rock just did that to Will Smith?
Oh, it'd be the
and had him by his wrist.
Oh, it'd be the best. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had one badass hecklers story in San Diego a few years ago, and it was this fool. He just got out of prison, and you could tell, and he kept coming, and I don't know. I was feeling it that night because normally I'm quite terrified of hecklers because I can handle it. I can handle it to a certain degree, and then I run out of tricks, and I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. You know?
Yeah.
I've only been headlining 2 years, bro. I don't have
the staff should help you.
Yeah, no shit, but they fucking don't. It's all on you 80% of the time. Yeah, if the staff's there helping me, I have no problem at all.
Do you know what I do?
What? Hey, staff, help me.
No, I take a vote. I go.
Oh, that's what I did recently.
I always say to the audience or to the person, I say, look, I think you're funny. I like what you're doing. I think you and I could be friends and hang out and have beers. I'm doing my show right now and you're interrupting. Like, we're the same type of people. I go, but you know what? I go, for some reason, the audience likes me and they don't like you. And I go, and you're going to get thrown out if you keep going. I go, and I don't want to throw you out. I won't do it because I think you and I could be friends. But at a certain point, I'm going to take a vote, and this is going to be like Survivor, and the tribal council will meet. And I go, and if you will get voted off our island. So at a certain point, I'm just going to have to take the vote. And so sure enough, when they do it again, I go, dude, I didn't want to do this.
Can I use this, please?
And then it's
I need help, man.
And then the audience goes, they literally fucking
off with their head.
Oh,
100% of the time.
They vote them out so quickly, and if the staff doesn't get it, then it's like the whole audience just asked you to remove this person.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then I throw a shit fit afterwards. I'm like, you guys, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it's wild out there. Because I did the vote. I didn't do that. That's funnier because there was these two Heckler girls in the front. They wouldn't quit. I gave them 3 chances. The first 2 one was funny, one was kind of funny. The third one, I was like, they answered their phone. I was just like, oh my God, and then I made the audience vote. Like, do y'all like these? You know, do you want them to leave? Yeah. And I was like, do you hear that? Like, the audience hates you. You guys are ruining the show. And they didn't, and they were teachers too. I already talked about this a bunch.
It's always teachers.
It's always teachers. It's always teachers. What the
always
fuck?
Teachers.
And it's always white women teachers.
They're a big part of my fan base.
What the fuck is happening? I don't understand
So
this.
I stopped working at the Seattle Underground.
Wait, I never finished my gangster story. Go. This one, nothing happened, but it was so scary. This fool I got the audio recording somewhere. I wish I videoed it. This fool's tatted up, fresh out the pen. He's with the fine girl too, which everyone, like, the way he's acting didn't match the caliber of the woman. But you know, girls like crazy dudes. This guy's crazy. He was heckling my homie before him, so my blood started boiling, you know. And he was a newer comic, and he didn't have the pa pa pa. And then I remember him coming at me, and I don't remember exactly what said, but it was fucking so funny. But I was feeling myself, so I was going at him. And then he said something like, because I'm making the crowd get him, you know. And then he said something like like, I'm gonna make you my bitch. And I was like, hey, fool, you're not in prison anymore. You know, you don't have to rape men. There's a beautiful girl you're with, right? You know, and it was just awesome. And then like I said something that questioned his manhood and his machismo. And with the Mexican culture, you don't do that. And it got like I saw the look on the security's face, but you know, we're on stage, we got adrenaline, we're in character. In my head, I'm going to die now. But coming out of my mouth is, fuck you, bitch, do it, pussy. You know, and the security is just like, oh no, like this guy might have a gun, and like he might.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
And then he ended up leaving. I remember the homie Josh Nelson, he'll tell you the story. We all were just like, oh fuck, is somebody getting shanked? Is Greg getting shot? The security was there, they were on it, and it was big motherfuckers, but everybody's face was just like, no, we don't want this, man.
I'm surprised people don't get like comics get killed more often with that kind of shit.
Yeah, don't say that. That's why I always got a knife though.
I was in England one time, and I was on my way to the gig from another gig in London, and somebody called me, one of the comics, or maybe when I got there, and they're like, oh, it was during the intermission in England. They have intermissions.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a guy in the front and he's ruining the show. And like British comics are all very proper and, you know, like Jimmy Carr type thing. And they're really funny and clever. But I was like New York, like, fuck you, man. I'll fucking kill you. Yeah. And they're like, get him, Eddie, get him. So I walked on stage and I got like a laugh on my first line. And then I pointed at him. I go, and you? I go, I've heard how you've been the whole show, but I'm not British and I'm not civil. You know, when the red coats came over and they wore the red coats and the hats and they stood in line and we were savages like fucking Indians in the woods and stabbing you with pitchforks. I go, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
I go, and the audience started laughing. I go, don't fuck with me, dude. Don't fuck with me. He quiets down, slumps down in his chair, and I do the whole set. So then, after the show, I'm standing out in like the vestibule area where everybody's leaving, and everybody's like, oh man, that was so funny. That was great. And all of a sudden he comes by and he grabs my hand and like doesn't squeeze it hard at first, but like shakes my hand and gets in my ear and he goes, funny, mate, funny, but I'm gonna fucking kill you outside, you fucking cunt. And he just squeezes my hand as hard as he can. And I go, oh no. And I'm like,
you're like, hey, you know I was joking, right? I'm a comedian.
So he goes outside and I look at the owner and I go, can I talk to you for a second? And he's like, yeah. I go, the guy that was heckling, I go, he just told me he's gonna kill me. And he goes, no, you'll be fine. And I go, no. I think he's serious.
He's going to kill me.
I go, and he had like some friends when I go.
He had the look in his eye.
I go, I think he's waiting for me outside. And he looks out the window and he goes, yeah, he is. And I go,
he's got that Lloyd Christmas look in his eye when he finds out Harry has 2 pairs of gloves, you know. I said that backwards. That was a good reference.
That was a good reference. But I go, do you guys have a back door? He goes, yeah, but it goes into a courtyard. And then there's buildings. I go,
Can I hang here a while?
And that's what was happening. Everybody was leaving. So it's just me and like a few of the staff. And then they're still out there, him and his mates. And so he goes, I'll go out and talk to him. He goes, I think you're fine. He goes out, he talks to him, he comes in, he goes, oh, he's going to kill you.
You're not fine, man.
And I go,
you're not fine.
I go, show me your courtyard. So we go outside to the courtyard and I look and I see it's like literally like building. But I see this fence with all this like ivy on it. I go, what's on the other side of that? What's on the other side of that?
3 pit bulls. I'll take my chances.
Yeah. Literally, I would have.
A Doberman, a Rottweiler, and a pit bull.
He goes, I think
Let's go.
He goes, I think it's another courtyard. And I go, there's got to be a way out of these courtyards.
Yeah.
So I climb over the fence. I get into the other courtyard. I find another fence. I get out and I'm on the street and I'm like, fuck you, dude. And I just call a taxi and I fucking get out of there right away. And I'm like, fuck you. I was like, he's still waiting out front for me, and I'm gone.
Fucking people are crazy, man.
They are crazy.
Comedians. We're comedians. Go after the politicians. What are you doing? We're joking.
You know, you're talking to the underground.
Hmm.
I had a chick hit me with a shoe there. She just took her shoe off and just threw it at my head, and it like fell on the ground. I picked up, it was like a big clog, like a wooden clog, like on the bottom. And I go, "Oh, you think that was funny?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like laughing. And I go, "You know, it's even funnier. Watching you hobble around on one shoe all night tonight." I go, "Your night's over." And I put it up above my head and I said, "Thank you, good night." And I walked through the crowd with the shoe and everybody cheered.
And then you threw it on the roof?
So then I left the place and I went home, and remember I lived pretty close to the underground. So I go home, put it on my mantle above my fireplace, and like 10 minutes later, Matt Devlin calls me. You know Devlin?
Yeah.
He calls me. He's like, "Hey, man, you got to bring that girl's shoe back. She's really upset. She's friends with the owner, blah, blah, blah." And I go, "What shoe?" I go, "You mean the one she hit me with?" And he goes, Yeah. Bring it back right now.
Like, no.
And I go, I don't know where it is. He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I threw it in a dumpster. He goes, "What dumpster?" I go, "I don't know. One of the ones in the alley on the way home. I just fucking rode my bike and just flung it in a dumpster." And he goes, "Well, what street?" And I go, "I don't know. It's on it's one of the streets. I was kind of all adrenalined up after I got hit in the head with a shoe." And that shoe stayed on my mantle until I moved out of that.
Good. Fuck her. Yeah, I snapped and jumped off stage and took a man's hat and glasses.
Wow.
And then I got back on stage and I said, "I'm going to shit in your hat." Because he kept heckling me. And he just killed the comic before. And it was my friend. And then I got off stage and I tried to shit on his hat and I didn't have a turd. So I pissed on it. And then I left because I knew I was going to fight the guy.
Where'd you piss on it?
At a bar show downtown LA. And then the producer called me. He's like, "Hey, where's that guy's hat and glasses?" I was like, "It's in the toilet. I pissed on it." And he's like, "Oh my God." And then they gave it back to the guy. And that's
Did you ever hear about Miss Pat?
No.
When I first heard about Miss Pat, Tim McLaughlin was the one that introduced me to her. And he was like, "You got to have this chick on your podcast." Tim was so funny. He goes, "She's hilarious." He's like, "Here's her number." He told me all about her. So I call her and I'm like, "Come do my podcast." This is like years ago. And he's like, "But tell her to be there an hour before the show starts." And I'm like, "Geez, you're racist." So she flies out from Indianapolis to do my show. But I had heard this story about her beating up an open micer. And I thought that's how Tim told me about her. And he's like, "Yeah, she's been, what was it? She was shot twice and hit by a dump truck." And that was the selling line of her. She's been shot twice, hit by a dump truck. And
She's lived a life.
And no one wants to know about the shootings. Everybody wants to know about how you get hit by a dump truck.
Yeah, that's my first instinct too. A dump truck.
But the dump truck, I think if I'm not mistaken, she jumped off an overpass in front of the dump truck that her like husband was driving, her boyfriend was driving or something. She was fucking crazy. She was like a drug dealer when she was like 13.
Yeah.
So anyways, Miss Pat, I'm in Indianapolis, and Bowers, the guy that used to own Morty's Comedy Club, we all partied all night. And he's like, "Hey, you want to come back to my house?" I'm like, "Not really." And he's like, "I have the video of Miss Pat beating up the open micer." And I'm like, Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
It is so funny. Did you ever hear the saying, "Hold my gold"?
Mm-mm.
Black chicks say it's like a saying when they want to fight. They're like, "Hold my gold."
Yeah.
She did "Hold my wig."
Oh, shit.
She took her wig off to fight.
That's badass. That's a gangster.
And Miss Pat went on, if I'm not mistaken. She went on. Then this comic goes up, and I think he shit on her. And he was not a good comic. He was not funny, and he was a young dude. And then he starts doing, like, somebody else's jokes. And you just hear Miss Pat go, "No, motherfucker, no.
Yeah.
No, you ain't going to do this." She goes up on stage and she goes, "No. Like, these white people don't deserve this shit. You can't get up here and do your fucking..." And he's like, "Fuck." She's like, "I will beat the shit out of you." I think he swung at her. So
Oh, shit.
she beat the fuck out of him on stage. And I was like, "Miss Pat, you need to release this video."
Yeah, you do.
It is
World star.
She would not release it forever, and she still won't. I'm like, Miss Pat, it's so fucking
If he
good.
swung first, you're a hero, Miss Pat. I want to see it. That's gangster shit right there. That's so funny. Yeah, she's a wild one. I never worked with her, but I heard stories. Got hit by a dump truck, man. You said you had a heart out at 120?
Yeah.
All right, we got to get a poop story out of you then.
Jeez. Is that what this show is?
Yeah.
Dude, you should have. I did a show called Talking Shit that was based on shit stories.
I know. I stole it.
I'm trying to think.
I stole the whole show. No, I actually wanted to do a podcast solely on shitting your pants stories, and then I realized that's not really sustainable. And I like my first podcast, I talked about shit for 45 minutes. I was like, that's just too much. That's too much. So now it's just a poop story, a nice shitting your pants story.
Yeah,
some
they're
good
calling
mud,
me. Wait,
some Fuddruckers.
Done in a minute. Oh, sorry. They.
Sorry, I'm about to pee my pants. Anyways, give me a diarrhea stories. Goddamn.
Okay, so I have a million of them. I've shit my pants so many times.
Good one.
So there's two that are pretty good. One, I'll give you your choice. You have the one where the entire New Jersey Garden State Parkway watched me have diarrhea, or the time I shit my pants and stuffed it in my bag and someone from TSA had to take it out of my bag.
Oh, those are both good, bro.
Or my favorite one is my friend, my buddy Chris Besco.
I have to
shit
pee
on the
so bad.
shit on the. I'll do this one because it's quick.
Wait,
my
no, let me pee first. I want the
I
good
gotta go.
ones.
I gotta go. My buddy Chris.
There's too many.
I gotta go. My buddy Chris Besco was babysitting. He was out of college, babysitting our friend, one of our high school friends' brothers that were still in high school. It's just supposed to keep them from having parties. They've got their girlfriends over. They're all hanging out in the kitchen. I come over to pick him up. We're going swimming. We were doing triathlons at the time, and I go. So I'm going to pick him up to go training. And I go, Chris, come on. I'm in the kitchen with the two kids and their two girlfriends. Chris, come on, let's go. He comes running down the steps. He's wearing are Umbro shorts. You remember Umbro soccer shorts?
Yeah.
He's just wearing that, nothing underneath. He comes running down their steps.
no.
They have back steps that come into their
no.
kitchen. He jumps from about the sixth from the bottom step into the kitchen, like flying. He tries to crouch, like land, like into a squat and fart at the same time, like land and fart. And a turd pops out of his pants and rolls across the floor. A ball, like a constipated ball, rolls across the floor at the girls.
Oh, no.
And the two sons. And no one knows what this. The girls are screaming. He shit came out of his body and went across the floor. It didn't splatter. It rolled like a little rubber
At his
ball.
4 children?
There were 4 kids, high school age kids.
All
And
his kids.
No, he was babysitting.
He was babysitting.
So he's babysitting 2 of these kids.
Oh, Jesus.
They're high school age kids.
Okay. Oh, my
and
God.
they see their babysitter's shit rolling at them.
Yeah, he's not going to be hired again.
I gotta go.
Oh, okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Anything
He's
else?
got a heart out. No, that was an epic poop story. I need those other 2 poop stories. Though. I got to pee my
Next time.
pants. Damn.
At Eddie F done everything.
At Eddie F. Tag him. Your links will be there.
EDDIFFT.
I'll do the wrap up. This man's got to go, and I'm about to piss. That's a good poop.
I'm in Colorado this week.
This comes out next week.
I'm still in Colorado.
All right. We still rolling?
Yeah.
I got my pee-pee out. Eddie If left me hanging with 2 epic poop stories. I didn't hear that the guy was the babysitter because I was in my head about pissing, but I can't believe that turd rolled into the kids. It's actually funnier that they were high school kids too, because that's a time where it's like, if they were toddlers, they'd be like, yeah, I do that too. Yeah, I got one here. I got bigger ball. I got big caca. That's what a toddler would say. That was my act out of a child. I was trying to remember if I said all the stories. The threesome that was blocked. I don't know if it was one, but they said it, not me. I was willing to test the waters. Be like, hey, guys, maybe. And then did poop. I filmed him pooping. I feel like the times have changed, and now I'm going to get canceled for that. But back then, it was a good... This was like 8 years ago, you know. This was a good gag. You film a man taking explosive diarrhea. What happened there with that word? I don't know. It always tastes... I've been tasting garlic and green onions a lot. Am I just getting old? Did I have that yesterday? I probably had it yesterday as a more logical response than getting old, you know. Who thinks that? I do. Garlic is my tooth. I put just a garlic clove in the hole in my tooth. Yeah, I got a tooth. Craig stinks. But he hasn't been attacked by a vampire in a long time. Werewolves? Which one? Vampires.
Vampire.
Silver bullets. Werewolves. I know my history. This was supposed to be me wrapping the show up. Now I'm talking about garlic in the tooth. What is happening, Craig? I don't know. Anyways, Eddie Ifft, hang on. Bingle bus, carbon monoxide. Yep, that's it. He yelled at me at the very end, too. We kept it cool. We kept the peace. And it was a misinformation. And I was justifiable. Because I wasn't about to miss that flight after almost him killing me with carbon monoxide, you know. All of us were like, he's like, maybe we'll just get gas masks and drive home. And it was like, it was across the country. It was like a 3-day drive. I did too. It was a 3-day drive. Because I was like, hey, man, I got Comedy Store Saturday. I already said yes. I got to be there, you know. And he promised me to get back that date. And then the car didn't break down. It would have happened. But then I was like, we all were like, just tow that shit and let's fly home. This is crazy. You literally can die driving that home. And then he's like, yeah, I guess. No, I guess. And then the last day, there was some sort of traffic. I don't know. And then I remember him coming down hot, yelling at Bud and me and the lady. It was so funny and awful. Anyways, why would I recap the one negative moment of the tour? Everything else was so fun. We were farting around. We almost died. We yelled at each other. Just 4 dudes in a hotel room. Standard good time, you know. Sausage fest, yeah. And then, yeah, just Eddie's the man, dude. He had me on his podcast very early, and he took me on the road very early. And I was trying to get him to take me to Australia. He's funny because he's famous in Australia and not so much over here. But he'll do like theater shows in Australia and sell out clubs. And I mean, he does well here too. I'm talking shit, but he just definitely does better in Australia is all I'm saying. Anyhow, yeah, that's it. My I love you all. You know, that's it. Keep your head up. Keep trucking. You know, garden. Don't pay attention what's going on out there. Just look at the sun and the earth. You'll be all right. Turn off the TV. Don't look at any war. Who needs the news? What is the news? Hey, everybody's dying out there. Yeah, don't need that. Yeah, and just keep positive. Go garden. Rub some rocks, tits, ass, cocks, whatever your thing is. Rub it away. Rub it away. Rub the pain away. And I love you all. Peace.